Futures trading involves risk and is not suitable for all investors. Content provided in this segment is meant for educational purposes and is not a solicitation to buy or sell commodities.
All right. Hello and welcome to Pasture to Pin, a new series from the Ever.Ag Insights team. Each week, we bring you news and updates on the markets with the intention of helping cattle producers manage their risk. I am your host, Michael Todd Rowen, coming to you live from my home office, joined as always by my co-host and teammate, Mr. Trey Freeman. Before I introduce our guest, I will timestamp this episode. Today is June 6, 2023 at 3:09 in the afternoon. On this episode, we will be hosting a cattle trio completed by none other than the Gator Wrangler, cow-calf producer, and fellow teammate, Antonio Corona. Antonio, welcome to the show.
Thanks, MT. I appreciate it. Glad to be on. Glad to see y'all this afternoon.
Happy to have you. Trey, welcome to the show as well, sir.
Thanks.
I don't want to leave you out.
Good to be here again.
Good. Well, Trey, are y'all floating up there in the Oklahoma Panhandle?
Pretty much. We've had 10 to 12 inches probably here in the Oklahoma Panhandle. You know, we had 60 hundredths, I think, until the end of April. So a drought buster, to say the least.
Yeah, you were getting beat by Death Valley there for a little while. So glad to see you're pulling ahead. Well, I don't want to one-up you, Trey, but we have had about 18 to 20 inches down here in the Texas Panhandle. The closer you get to Amarillo, the closer you get to 20 inches. But we're sitting pretty close out here in Hereford, and that's over the last 4 weeks. So the grass sure is popping up and may spark some grass fever. So we'll just have to see. As we look to the futures market, we've had a nice little rally that started back on May 30th. Nearby August feeder futures are currently sitting at 243, 250, with live cattle futures settling at 179, 825 on the day. Trey, what are you thinking here? Are we seeing some reaction to cash, or what are your thoughts here?
You bet. Just brief recap on last week. Cattle futures finished sharply higher, on account of the record strength in the cash market. June fats finished up $9 a hundredweight. August fats finished $7.80 higher, and August feeders $8 higher. The upward momentum, like you said, it's continued into this week with both fats and feeders making new highs for the move. June fats took out the record spot price of $177.70 from April, and August feeders came within 70 cents of the record spot price set in October of 2014. So where do we go from here? Well, June fats have finally made an effort to narrow the spread to cash, now trading about $2 a hundredweight under the 5-area weighted price. June goes off in 3 weeks, making August spot month, which is currently the cheapest contract on the board. Front month futures have been dogging it for some time now. They've been dogging it in the face of an advancing cash market and continued strength in demand. So, why is this? Bottom line is we're in no man's land on the charts and approaching a time of year when prices tend to soften as inventory of market-ready cattle increase. As for this week, I'd expect a steady cash market as cattle feeders. They'll be motivated to not let these record cash prices get away. And looking out a little further, when June rolls off, I'd expect the same lagging action to the cash market from August. The trade's comfortable with the discount, and short sellers are unwilling to admit defeat easily. So I don't expect that trend to change. Now, feeders, on the other hand, are a different story. Friday's CME feeder index was at 208 with front month trading at 243. That's front month August. Now, that's quite the premium out there in August futures. Now, today, that feeder index is trading at 216, an $8 jump just in less than a week's time. So overall, feeder futures have had a lot of support from the weakening grain markets over the last few months, and with weather markets in the grains right around the corner, that support may leave on some sort of grain rally and take some wind out of the sails. So keep an eye on grains as they'll dictate a lot of the action in feeder futures moving forward. But overall, great action in the futures market these last few days. Hard to complain whenever you get 10 to 12 inches of rain in the last 6 weeks and new record highs in fat cattle. So looking great.
Amen to that. Thank you, Trey. Looking to the cash and fundamental side of the market, wow. And I'm not sure what to say outside of that. Just simply outstanding cash prices. I feel like I've said that phrase on this show time and time again. Just simply outstanding. that's because they are. We've had 182 live being traded in the South as of today. Bids in the 190s being bid out. Seems like they're being passed, but we had 190 trade live in the North. Feeder cattle are not far behind. Trey, I've seen 319 at Fort Pierre, South Dakota for 5-weight steers. What have you seen at Oklahoma City National?
I mean, it's been hot compared to 2 weeks ago. Oklahoma City, yesterday, we saw prices $10 to $15 higher with instances of 20. So great strength in the cash market. Good reason why that feeder index jumped $8 in a matter of about 4 days.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. I saw a guy tweet out that Oklahoma City National was the Fort Pierre of the South, and I would absolutely agree. Following the usual seasonal trends for a beef cutout, cutout values are on the rise, and as of today, are sharply on the rise. We had choice jump $5.32 this morning, settling at $319.52 for the AM pricing. Select was not far behind. It jumped at $246 to $299.19. These high prices are simply why we're getting things done. I mean, we've got great retail prices, we have great cutout prices, and we have great cash cattle prices. Of course, when you see these high prices, we can run the risk of retail beef getting too expensive for the consumer. That's already starting to signal that maybe we're stretching the pocketbook a little too much, especially when you join this conversation with just the fact of the matter on the pork side. We have a glut of hogs, we have a glut of pork, and that presents, truthfully, a nice opportunity for the consumer to switch from beef to pork. So keep an eye out on those demand numbers and know that pork is readily available. Back to our guest, our teammate and fellow livestock agent, Antonio Corona. Outside of work, Antonio is a Florida cattleman, cow-calf producer, and gator wrangler, if I understand it. Right, Antonio?
Well, I don't know how much gator wrangling we really do, but the cow-calf and the ranching and all. Every now and then I might chase one here too, but here or there.
Good deal. Well, nonetheless, welcome to the
Yes,
show.
sir. Thank you. So, Florida cattle ranching is maybe a little different. We've got some hurdles, down here to kind of get through. Freight being a big one down here for us. We're probably $15, $20 behind, give or take. There's times we may close that gap a little bit, but that's probably our biggest hurdle is freight down here. In the last probably 20, 25 years, we've really improved our cattle. So our genetics have really improved, and our demeanor in the cattle have really changed for the better. But a big plus that we have is the ability to grow a lot of grass pretty much all year round. So that's a really big plus. And then we can use that to our advantage, and our input cost, that is where we can really save that. So we're predominantly a cow-calf state. We do have some backgrounders kind of popping in here and there. A lot of it is probably more folks weaning their own calves and maybe taking in a few extras here and there as room allows. But we're starting to see some folks get some leased land or buying some properties in, maybe Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, in those states, shipping their feeder calves there and grazing them for a little while and then selling them from there. So it's to try to cut down on that freight, try to capture some of that market, and kind of get some small wins as you go.
Well, Antonio, thank you very much. We sure appreciate the insight. That is a wrap for this episode of Pasture to Pen. Thank you to all of our viewers for watching this episode. If you haven't done it yet, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and then the bell to be notified of future episodes. Thank you, as always, to my co-host and teammate, Trey Freeman. Thank you, Paige. Thank you, Corey. And a big thank you to all the Ever.Ag Insights team for making this show possible. As always, stay safe and pray for rain.